This is KGW News at 4.
Here is a live look at Timberline this afternoon. Gorgeous as usual, and it's a place where we are accustomed to seeing snow, right? But right now it's looking like the question is, how much snow are we going to be seeing down here in the city? Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich. It is all about timing, and in this case, winter weather is expected during a very busy holiday travel time. Road crews are out preparing for it, and they're hoping if you're driving, you're prepared too. Tim Gordon is live with what you need to know if you're hitting the road. Tim.
Hey, Christine, we know a lot of people are going to be hitting the roads for the holidays. We're over I-405 here, and you can see, it's really not too bad right now. But if you've been out and about, a lot of folks have been running around pre-holiday, busy roads already. For the Christmas holiday season, AAA says 109 million Americans are going to travel, including 1.5 million Oregonians. And 92% of that travel is driving, so most of it. So add in the winter weather coming, and it is a challenging situation to say the least. Now, we're not expecting a blizzard like we had for Christmas time in 2008, but enough snow and cold conditions are in the forecast over a period of days that it can certainly get dangerous out there, especially if you're not prepared. AAA.
So slow down, leave plenty of space between you and the vehicle in front of you. You and your vehicle may be totally prepared and ready for that winter weather, but chances are the cars and drivers around you may not be.
Now, we're going to have a lot of help out there. ODOT and WashDOT out on the state routes, and the Portland Bureau of Transportation in the city. PBOT says a few hundred workers are having to cancel their holiday to be on the street, putting down de-icer to start, then being in position with plows and gravel and salt. They'll be running 12-hour shifts and going 24 hours for winter weather coverage beginning Saturday, and yes, that is Christmas morning. So we thank them for being out there, and the best way that you can thank road crews is to frankly stay out of the way. Give them a lot of room, and if you don't have to travel once this winter weather sets in, well, just stay home, sit by the fire and enjoy it. Christine, back to you.
Yeah, that's some good advice, because who really wants to be on the road anyway in all that snow and ice or whatever comes our way? Thank you so much, Tim. Okay, meteorologist Chris McGinnis joining us now. Chris, these are the big questions, right? How much, how long, how soon? Right now, the coast looking gray, and is that a frozen shot? No, I see the waves coming in.
No, don't do that to us yet, Christine. Yes, that is a live look at Cannon Beach. I'll tell you what, the beach is not immune to the possibility of snow in our forecast, probably a little bit later on as we get into Monday. But yes, it will be cold enough eventually within our 7-day forecast that even the Oregon coast could see some snow. But I want to focus a little bit more on the here and now. The big questions everybody's asking now that we start seeing snowflakes in the forecast is how much. This is a reasonable representation of what could happen on the valley floor by Sunday morning. Our computer model spitting out about 1 to 3 inches in the Portland metro area, in Vancouver, in Salem, up and down the entire I-5 corridor. I'm not sure that it all comes at once. We'll have numerous showers that will probably produce this, but needless to say, you can see the snowfall amounts here are significant in the Willamette Valley, enough to cause travel problems on the valley floor. You get up in elevation and it's going to be a winter wonderland, and we don't have to go very high up to see those kinds of issues. We're talking about the coastal passes. We're talking about the Cascades just getting pounded with snow. A winter storm watch is in effect for the South Washington and North Oregon Cascades and the Oregon and parts of the Washington Coast Range. That starts tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. If you have travel plans to the beach, this impacts you. So here's a look at our forecast snow levels. Tomorrow, Friday, Christmas Eve day, I've got the snow level around 1,500 feet and dropping. That includes the coastal passes. So the Coast Range is going to get hit. Obviously, the Cascade foothills are also included in that. By tomorrow night, the snow could be as low as the West Hills of Portland. We're talking 1,000 feet here, and at times the snowflakes will probably mix in even lower during the day on Saturday. Christine, here's the real tricky part. I think Saturday night is when the valley uniformly gets cold enough that I can say with some degree of certainty, Saturday night and into Sunday is our best chance for accumulating snow on the valley floor. There may be some pockets here or there before then, but we're pretty confident that Saturday night into Sunday is going to be the time when all of us, at least east to the beach, is seeing snow on the ground. And I'll walk you through the finer points of that forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, Chris, thanks so much. Now, trying to get ahead of all this, Portland and Multnomah County have already declared a state of emergency. The city made the announcement at a news conference this afternoon. The state of emergency goes through December 31st. It's January 3rd for the county. Both can be extended. There will also be 5 warming shelters across the city that open on Christmas Day. These shelters are often opened as temperatures drop below freezing. And with not just snow, but also really cold temperatures, you will definitely want to stay with us over this next week, the weekend. We'll keep you updated with the forecast and conditions on air, online, and of course across all of our social media platforms. The Omicron variant is quickly spreading around all parts of the country. This as the COVID case count in Oregon ticks upward. Health leaders in our area say they're preparing for a surge. KGW's Alma McCarty walks us through the latest information, including a new University of Oregon survey on vaccinations.
As 2021 winds down, healthcare leaders once again encourage everyone to do their part at this point in the pandemic. That means vaccinations, booster shots, masks, and other fundamental COVID precautions ahead of a surge.
We've got a very sweet window of time of around 3 weeks, we think, where we're going to start seeing that surge.
Dr. Keisha Kelly, Chief Nursing Officer for Legacy Health, says hospitals are planning for the worst and hoping for the best with the Omicron variant, predicting an increase in hospitalizations and infection rates.
Severity of the illness is not quite what we saw with the Delta variant. But what we are seeing is that those who have not been vaccinated, of course, and those who are immunocompromised and have other concerns, that's really where we're going to see the difference. And we want to make sure that, we want to keep our staff healthy, we want our communities to be healthy. And, and absolutely, we want to make sure that we have beds that are available for those patients who really need it.
Meantime, a new survey from the University of Oregon shows an increasing number of Oregonians are choosing to get the vaccine. Yet a significant number dismiss the risks of COVID-19, which could hinder the progress of combating the pandemic over the last year.
The threat from Omicron is very, very evident. And while Oregon hasn't experienced the same effects of it yet, we very much expect that to happen very soon.
Researcher Benjamin Clark, a professor at the School of Planning, Public Policy and Management, analyzed this data.
Seeing a lot of the same patterns we've seen for the last year in terms of why people are getting vaccinated or not. What we're trying to do is understand how to change people's minds or enable friends and families and doctors and public health officials around the state to find ways that they can nudge those people in the right direction.
The survey also shows the emergence of the Delta variant led to a sharp increase in vaccinations this fall, though the divide between vaccination rates in urban and rural areas continues to be the biggest challenge in protecting all Oregonians from COVID-19. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
The surge in COVID cases is canceling or postponing events in sports and entertainment. That includes tonight's Blazers game against the Brooklyn Nets, which is postponed. Almost 100 NBA players and coaches are under the league's COVID protocols. Games postponed have not yet been rescheduled. A holiday performance at the Newmark Theater in downtown Portland is also canceled. Several members of the company for the drag show tested positive for COVID. It's yet another hit for an industry already struggling.
We've just come out of the last 18 months in pretty bad financial shape, having lost all of our business for so long. And things were looking really good for us. We have a lot of shows on the books.
A trade show at the Oregon Convention Center scheduled for January has also been canceled. A Silverton family is hoping you can help find their loved one who's been missing since mid-October. Deputies believe a catfishing scheme may be behind the teen's disappearance. Catfishing, if you were unaware, is a form of online deception. Mike Benner spoke to the boy's family.
This here is the Mayhew family. The boy on the far right is 17-year-old Ezra. described by his dad as very eclectic, a lover of both art and music.
As far as music goes, he loves all sorts of different instruments. He's a huge Van Halen fan.
Sadly, the Mayhew family's Silverton area home has been quiet for weeks. The sound of music nowhere to be found.
It's not a good feeling. And last 2 months has been really the hardest thing me and my wife have gone through in our whole lives.
That's because Ezra is missing. Family tells KGW Ezra was dropped off for his morning shift at the Oregon Garden Resort in Silverton on October 15th. Later that day, Ezra texted his parents to say he was working a double. But when they went to pick him up that night, he wasn't there.
Red flags went up, and because we're a small town family. I mean, we're, it's, if for one of our kids just not to be there is like, huge.
The Mayhews alerted authorities, who thought Ezra might have run away. But both law enforcement and the family continued to poke around, and they determined this.
So he was involved in a catfishing scam.
It's where somebody's creating a fake persona online and using it to lure a person in, whether it be into a relationship, whether it be into trying to get them to give money.
Sergeant Jeremy Landers of the Marion County Sheriff's Office can't get into specifics about the catfishing scheme, or even if it rises to a criminal level.
I don't think we have enough information to know that. Our main focus is just to try and help the family locate Ezra and try and get him back to safety.
But where exactly is Ezra? Family believes he traveled from Silverton to Salem, then to Seattle, where the trail goes cold.
Now we don't know if maybe he has met somebody out there and is actually trafficked.
Regardless, family wants nothing more than for Ezra to come home for the holidays.
I give my right arm for him to be home. I mean, I give all my wealth. I mean, it's your son. I mean, this is my child.
Your heart just breaks for the Mayhew family. Anyone with information about this case should contact the Marion County Sheriff's Office. In the meantime, Rex Mayhew, who you just heard from in that piece, says he's not a techie guy. He doesn't know a whole lot about social media, so he had no idea what Ezra was up to. A lot of parents may find themselves in the same boat, so you'll find a link to some social media safety tips on our website, kgw.com. I'm Mike Benner. Now back to you.
Now to a topic we've been talking about a lot lately, education. Most schools are now in winter break, so we decided to slow it down a little and take a look at how the school year has been going so far. By many accounts, it has seemed harder than last year, even without all those issues related to remote learning. Students and teachers tell us they're feeling overwhelmed from all the fights, classroom disruptions, and heightened anxiety of in-person school. I spoke with students to give them a chance to vent and tell us how things are going from their perspective. Some of them are pretty young, and parents gave them permission to speak to us.
Sorry. Okay, my name is Grace. I am a senior at McKay High School.
My name is Paul Quash. I'm a senior at North Salem High School.
And my name is Dara Elkana, and I'm a senior at South Salem High School.
All three of these students attend class in Salem-Keizer Public Schools, and all three say this year is a challenge.
There is a lot of more disrespect going around to staff and teachers. There has been more violence and fights going on, and we've never had.
Kids are skipping class. Grace says she sees it when she helps out in the library.
There's tons of kids skipping. I mean, we're talking 30 to 50 kids skipping sometimes. And it's just wow, things have changed.
It's the same thing at North as well. This is a roller coaster where we have really high highs and then really low lows.
These students say everyone seems mentally exhausted.
You just notice the morale is really low in the school.
They say students are also dealing with bullying online.
Just taking pictures of people without their consent. And there might be bad comments about it.
In some cases, that bullying extends to teachers too. Dara says she, Paul, and Grace are all part of an anti-bullying group.
And I mentioned it to one of my teachers, and she's like, can teachers be a part of that? Because I'm getting bullied by students.
It's a whole mess, but we're still trying to figure it out, and we're still navigating.
In Vancouver, 9th grader Katie Pyatt has seen similar things.
I've definitely noticed the disrespect being there, because a lot of kids don't like wearing their masks and will keep them pulled down and then just ignore the teachers when they ask to pull them up. There have been a few fights as well.
Still, overall, she's happy school is back in person.
Because I get to see my friends a lot more, and it's nicer to see my family a little less after being stuck in the same house with them forever. Rude.
That's her brother, Colin, an 8-year-old in 3rd grade. He says he hasn't seen any fights at his school.
I like how it's actually in person instead of online, because I thought that was a lot harder to learn.
Outside of the Portland area, 10-year-old Caleb Duncan is also grateful to be back in person. This year, he's attending a charter school.
And I'm in 5th grade, and I go to Dallas, Oregon School District.
He says he's been able to socialize more with other kids and even did a Christmas play.
It's way better. I mean, like, versus sitting at home all day in front of a screen, it's like you can't even compare them. They're so different.
His mom, Janica, has 4 other kids. 2 of them attend public school, 1 in middle and another in high school. They weren't available to speak to us, but Janica told us what they told her.
The middle school especially is really bad. Like, kids will just walk out of class. They're thankful to be in person, but it's not quite ideal yet.
Back at Salem Kaiser, students are taking initiative and plan to hold what are being called student engagement cafes.
We get to meet with not just high schoolers, but middle school and elementary. So you get multiple perspectives.
We talk about anti-bullying, we talk about cyberbullying, we talk about mental health problems.
I think the whole process is just to give voice to students.
There's been a lot of change, but I know that change leads to growth.
Gotta admire those students. In 3 minutes, weather here and there. Wisconsin seeing big road closures, and our very own Chris McGinnis will, of course, let us know what we should expect in the Pacific Northwest. And at 4:30, your national headlines, including the outcome of the trial involving Daunte Wright's death. The cop that shot him says she confused her gun for her taser. Welcome back. Icy roads in Wisconsin led to multiple crashes and road closures on I-94 there this morning. State Patrol says a semi-trailer caught on fire and 2 cars got trapped right underneath it. Several other crashes and runoffs happened nearby too. No injuries or deaths have been reported. The State Patrol says freezing rain caused icy road conditions. And back in our area, we're expecting things to kind of get pretty chilly, right?
Yeah, we're going to get a whole lot colder, and icy roads, snow-packed roads, definitely a concern here across the entire Pacific Northwest over the next, really going beyond our weekend, but into next week as well. Let me show you at least one of the ingredients why we're talking about this. There is some serious cold bottled up in Canada. Check out Fort Yukon, and you know what? They've actually been colder than that, but I just wanted to display the temperatures that are 20 and 30 below zero and then some are taking up a lot of real estate across portions of Alaska and the Northwest Territories, etc. And a good chunk of that is going to drive the weather in our forecast over the next 7 days. So here's a look at Futurecast real quick. I'm going to show you the European model here. And the one thing I wanted to highlight was this little pink line on here, this little magenta line. That's the freeze line. PDX has not yet been below freezing this fall, winter. That's actually mind-blowing in and of itself, right? Hillsborough, Aurora, Salem, Vancouver have, but officially at PDX, 33 is as cold as we've gotten so far. That's about to change, and as I'll show you the Futurecast here, there's a good chance we don't get above freezing once we get to about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Cold air really takes hold here across the Pacific Northwest. We're talking about well below zero readings possible east of the Cascades, and lows even in the Willamette Valley could be slipping down into the teens or slightly colder than that if things work out just right. But in any event, a major change in air mass, and often what happens is that the storm track follows these edges of these Arctic boundaries. And so here you go. You see the clouds and the swirl there. This is over the last 24 hours. There's our latest storm system that's bearing down on the region for tomorrow. So with that in mind, let me show you a Futurecast. Waves of precipitation come ashore during the day. This is overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Initially, it'll be rain here. Here in the Portland metro area, we're talking about rain all day tomorrow on Christmas Eve day. But as I fast forward a little bit, a couple of things happen. First off, the snow really gets cranking in the Cascades. Snow levels lower in the Coast Range, so those are the first areas that are really going to start to be impacted by wintry weather. And as this system continues to come ashore and the flow around it continues circulating colder and colder air aloft, that will allow the snow levels to slowly but steadily lower as we head into the day on Saturday, and especially by Saturday night. I think we're cold enough up and down the I-5 corridor that snow on the valley floor is going to be a reality for a lot of us. Saturday night and Sunday. Portland maybe 1 to 3 inches. That's very reasonable. Coast Range is going to get clobbered, and so too are the Cascades. We're looking at very, very heavy snows there over the next couple of days. So it's really, it's good to point out, Christine, for anyone that's traveling over the mountain passes, it's not recommended at this point because 50% of your drive is going to be in like winter storm conditions during the day tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be a rough go.
Okay.
Just be prepared for that. If you have to do it, you need to know that.
Right. Important information. Thank you so much, Chris. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It is time for an adventure that really embraces the holiday spirit. Grant McComey takes us to Forest Grove for a chance to meet a very special Santa.
The rain falls in buckets on a freezing winter's night. Landscapes are awash with a bone-chilling cold. But in Forest Grove, there are waves of good cheer.
Well, come on up here and see me.
And a unique holiday spirit from the Santa of Willamina Avenue.
You can tell me what you would like for Christmas.
This Santa warms the frigid night with friendly greetings for those who stop by.
Well, hello there. How are you tonight? Have you come to see Santa Claus?
Mickey Johnson has carried off the white-bearded role for nearly 30 years, and here in his annual yard performance since 2005. The rehearsals began weeks ago.
They've done this before.
They've done this before.
They've done this before.
What is it they're putting together?
This will be the cover over the sleigh.
When family and friends lend a hand to the retired drama teacher and build his North Pole.
The light hangs in the back, right?
No, the light's in front.
Johnson built all of the set pieces, including Santa's sleigh. His daughter Cheryl takes special care with this sign of the season.
There you go.
That holds memories of a time not so long ago.
And they just did a lab test, and they're like, your white count's through the roof. You need to go see this oncologist tonight.
Cheryl was diagnosed with leukemia in 2000. Dark, uncertain times followed until OHSU doctors developed a cancer drug that saved her life.
That's what has kept me alive the last 20, almost 2 years.
She's in remission, feeling well, prospects are good. But Mickey wanted to do more, payback.
Everybody just kind of relaxed a little bit, and we said, what can we do? Well, this seems like a natural thing to do for me. So I decided to come up here with this idea, be free for anybody that wanted to come. And if they wanted to, they could make a donation to the Leukemia Society.
His idea seemed right at home, since he'd built plenty of sets for high school plays.
Well, let's see, my hair, glasses, beard matches. So I think I'm pretty close to ready.
And for the role of his lifetime that honors his daughter's life, Johnson becomes Santa for 5 nights before Christmas.
But it was in his wheelhouse. He'd already had the Santa suit. He's built a lot of sets. High school drama teacher and has done many, many productions.
It doesn't take much motivation. As long as I have the kids that come. Oh, hello there. How are you tonight? I josh with them a lot, you know. I'm not the typical Santa. What would you like for Christmas?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Well, you know what I bring if you don't know? Socks and underwear.
It is all good fun, and the smiles break out as the Santa of Willamina Avenue enjoys time with the young ones, who are filled with wonder and grace.
Well, what have we got here? Well, hello there, sweetie. How are you? Did you come to see me? I was a teacher for 28 years, and I liked working with kids. That's part of my makeup. It's just part of my nature.
In Forest Grove with photographer Jeff Cass.
Have a very Merry Christmas, okay?
Grant McComey, KGW.
He's just Santa on the inside. Be sure to check out Grant's Getaways holiday special. It'll be airing right here on KGW tomorrow, Christmas Eve, at 4 in the afternoon, and then again on Christmas morning.
This is KGW News at 4:30.
Here are now your 4:30 headlines. A former Minnesota police officer is guilty on all charges for killing a black man back in April. The jury delivered its verdict this morning. Kim Potter shot Dante Wright during a traffic stop back on April 11th. Potter says she thought she shot Wright with her taser, but it was actually her gun. The jury found her guilty on first and second-degree manslaughter. Potter will remain in custody until her sentencing date on February 18th. She faces a maximum of 15 years in prison. And former President Donald Trump wants the Supreme Court to look at his case as he tries to keep documents away from the committee that's investigating the January 6th insurrection. Trump is claiming that as a former president, he has the right to assert executive privilege over the records, arguing that releasing them would damage the presidency in the future. A federal appeals court ruled against him 2 weeks ago, so his team is asking the Supreme Court to make a ruling. Claims for unemployment benefits didn't change from last week, staying below pre-pandemic levels. The weekly numbers have fallen consistently for most of this year. Even with the Omicron variant surge, economists say no new wave of layoffs is in sight for right now. Also, consumer spending has increased, comfortably putting the economy at a strong finish for 2021. Meantime, overseas in China, a city of 13 million people are now in lockdown. It's part of the country's efforts to really get a handle on COVID before the Winter Olympics in Beijing. The country has had frequent lockdowns, mandatory mask wearing, and mass testing over the last few months. So far, it's only reported 7 cases of the Omicron variant. And those are your 4:30 headlines. Back here in the U.S., this has been a pretty common sight around the country. We're talking about long lines for COVID testing, like the ones in Chicago. It can feel like a bit of a flashback to the early days of the pandemic and has a lot of people worried that we don't have enough tests with more cases of the Omicron variant popping up. But there is hope out there. The FDA just green-lighted another option to help fight COVID. NBC's Chris Pallone takes us to our nation's capital.
There will soon be 2 drugs on the market to help people fight COVID-19 at home. Pfizer's antiviral pill approved yesterday, and now a new medication from Merck, FDA approved today, for adults at risk for severe disease. In clinical trials, the Merck pill was just 30% effective in reducing hospitalizations and deaths in high-risk patients, compared with 89% for Pfizer. But both pills might be hard to find in the early going.
These are going to be available only in small quantities to high-risk individuals.
As people scramble to get tested,
people are getting positive tests everywhere just to confirm, because Christmas is around the corner and we want to be with family.
Some cities and states are giving out as many tests as they can.
I wish it were more, but we'll take what we can get at this point.
The White House promises to provide 500 million at-home tests on demand to people starting next month.
We've taken a number of rapid steps as soon as we knew that this was a variant, even before it hit the United States.
The president acknowledged the issue while urging people to keep things in perspective.
No, nothing's been good enough. But look where we are. When last Christmas we were in a situation where we had significantly fewer people vaccinated.
The outbreak reaching the highest levels of the government. After President Biden came in close contact with someone who developed COVID, so did Vice President Kamala Harris. And now 7 Pentagon employees have tested positive, along with lawmakers like South Carolina Representative Jim Clyburn and Senator Chris Coons of Delaware.
Of course, this latest COVID surge right around the holidays can be really emotionally draining. But a University of Washington expert has a message about COVID fatigue.
The problem is that our healthcare system can't handle this. And then the problem that we risk is not necessarily that we can't take care of the people with COVID. It's that we can't take care of the people who have cancer and who have trauma and who have, all those other things, congenital disorders, and who need elective surgery. And it trickles down to all those other things. So it actually is a huge healthcare disaster for everyone, even if you don't have it.
So right now in Washington, about 15% of people in the ICU have COVID. That number may feel low, but the State Hospital Association warns that this is an alarmingly high level, especially with Omicron now here. And throughout the pandemic, it has really felt like viral claims are spreading almost as fast as COVID. The latest has many of you asking this question. It is, can activated charcoal affect the COVID-19 vaccine in your body? Our Verify team looked into that for you.
Activated charcoal is a jet black powder made from peat, coconut shells, bamboo, and other types of wood. It can be found in a range of products, from food and detox drinks to teeth whitening and skincare products. According to Dr. Anderson, executive director of the Maryland Poison Center and professor of pharmacy practice and science at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy, activated charcoal is often given to overdose patients to try and absorb ingested toxins. Adsorption happens when one material, like activated charcoal, sticks to the surface of another. It's a different process than absorption, which means two materials chemically combine. But does it work the same way for injections like the vaccines? Well, several Verify audience members, including Charmaine, have reached out to us asking if activated charcoal affects the COVID-19 vaccines. So let's verify. Our sources are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Bruce Anderson, Dr. Kaswar Talat, Associate Professor at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, and Dr. Cheryl Brown, Medical Director at UltiMed Health Services. Since activated charcoal is ingested orally and the vaccine is injected into your arm, Doctors Brown and Talat agree. There isn't concern that they will come into contact.
So it's going down into your intestines, the activated charcoal. The vaccine actually goes into your arm and it goes into your bloodstream so that you can make a response, an antibody response in your bloodstream. So the activated charcoal shouldn't interact with that.
Activated charcoal is not on the CDC's list of medications people should not take before receiving any of the COVID-19 vaccines. So we can verify, no, taking activated charcoal will not affect COVID-19 vaccines. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Coming up next, the University of Washington is working on ways to beat depression with psychedelic drugs. We'll take a look at the project in less than 3 minutes. Welcome back. Researchers at the University of Washington are working to see if psychedelic drugs can help treat depression. Their test subjects can tell us all about mental health challenges over the last 2 years. That's because the researchers plan to use frontline medical workers. Eric Wilkinson has more on that project.
Few have suffered more during the pandemic than frontline healthcare workers, often barraged with apathy, even abuse, as they've tried to save people from COVID-19. 1 in 5 healthcare workers has experienced anxiety or depression during the pandemic. UW Medicine's Dr. Tony Bach has seen it in his colleagues.
It's one thing to be a doctor and have patients say, "Hey, thanks for the recommendation. That's not for me." It's another thing to have somebody spit at you.
Now, researchers at the UW School of Medicine want to find out if psilocybin, the psychoactive ingredient in magic mushrooms, can help with severe depression in those healthcare workers. A growing body of research shows the drug allows parts of the brain that typically don't talk to each other to do just that, creating new pathways for thinking and behaving.
It's almost like a kind of a spiritual experience where you kind of are able to step back and go, "Oh, whoa, there's something much bigger happening here than just this one patient, this one hospital room."
I'm dissolving.
Another psychedelic drug, ketamine, is legal and currently being prescribed for patients for everything from anxiety to addiction. But unlike ketamine, psilocybin has been deemed dangerous by the FDA with no medical use. Dr. Bach believes this study will show it does have medical use, and with the health crisis currently sweeping this country, the drug is not only useful, but desperately needed.
We really need to explore, what are the things that we can do to change up what is happening in the mental well-being of our populace here. I think we're totally at a tipping point.
Very interesting. Oregon legalized the so-called magic mushrooms for therapeutic use back in 2020. We're still in a 2-year development period, though, in which a state advisory board is ironing out all the rules and regulations for psilocybin therapy. Coming up in just 3 minutes, some Northwest families have received a heck of a Christmas present, a house. That's amazing. The new program in Western Washington that's helping several families find new homes.
Meanwhile, a lot of us have been dreaming about a white Christmas. It is possible on the valley floor, maybe late Saturday night. I'll walk you through the details of that and a very wet forecast for tomorrow coming up in just a few minutes.
Welcome back. You are going to love this one because it is a perfect Christmas story. 9 Western Washington families are getting to realize the American dream this week. They are new homeowners. It's all through the Team Home Build program at Housing Hope. Chris Cashman has the story from the brand new neighborhood.
Yeah, hello there from Snohomish County. We are in Stanwood, where this neighborhood is quite literally coming to life today after more than 18 months of building these homes. The homeowners being handed the keys to their brand new homes, a day they never thought was possible.
I'm Tanya Ward, the program manager for Team Home Building. It's a Housing Hope program. We service Snohomish County for low and very low income families. It's a sweat equity program. Families sign up to build their own homes. They build all together. We have 8 homes here. They're going to build together. When they're done, they all get their keys at the same time.
I know this neighborhood has really worked for it, all in about 20,000 hours of sweat equity.
They built out here for 16 months, so they've been in the rain, like it's starting to rain here today. They've been in the snow, they've been in the heat. We had that excessive heat this summer, but they were out here, and Kayla and Doug were just really rock stars and getting their houses done.
You know, we got 3 kids, and because of how hard it is to buy a home here and our situation, there's no way we would have been able to have this opportunity in Snohomish County unless we had a program like Housing Hope to help us get there. So,
you know, everyone has neighbors, but not everyone gets to build their home with their neighbors. And so we have that unique situation where we can do that. And then now we get to move in and we're in charge, like we're responsible for building that community together. Like we get to be very intentional about that. And that's exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you here.
I'd come out here about 3 times a week, and Kayla was out here, rain, snow, hot, whatever, and every time I come out here she was learning a new skill. She did concrete work, and she did a fantastic job with that. She installed cabinets, she installed the flooring, she built the decks. Every time I came out here she was just doing something else, and she was always willing to do whatever we asked her.
This is my favorite part. This is all protected woodlands back here. So that's, I mean, the house is my favorite part. But, you know, that's never going to be anything other than trees, ideally. So
it's so heartwarming. They get to move in, and it's home for the holidays, I'll tell you what.
Looks good. These houses are absolutely beautiful.
It's a joy and so heartwarming to see the families get their keys at the end of the build.
Oh, that is such a cool story. What a gift, right? That's like the ultimate present.
Oh my goodness, I'm just totally like.
He's like floored.
Well, you know what I really liked actually? Did you see the little effect on the keys at the end there? That's what I'm like.
Deer in the headlights. Yeah.
No, I saw that. That editing looked cool, but no, really great story.
Yeah,
really great story.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're expecting a pretty eventful, Christmas.
An eventful 48 hours here. Let's get to the weather wall right now, and I wanted to show you the live look up at Government Camp. This is Highway 26. And it is busy up there. We've got some snow on the roadways. I'll tell you what, those folks are actually getting a head start on what otherwise is going to be a very stormy drive over the mountain tomorrow. There are winter storm watches in effect for the Cascade foothills, the Cascades, and the Coast Range starting 6 a.m. on Friday. If you have travel plans, you might want to reconsider, or at the very least, just be totally prepared for some really gnarly driving conditions over the coastal passes and the Cascade passes starting first thing tomorrow morning. We do have some light snow flying up there right now, as you saw in the live picture, and radar backing that up as well. And we're starting to get a little uptick in the rain and the shower activity here as well. There's our next storm system dropping southward out of the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to follow that arrow that I just drew on there. So I wanted to walk you through Futurecast real quick. This is tonight at midnight. Next round of precipitation kind of on the uptick, so the intensity will increase. Showers will become more numerous here in the valley. Showers more numerous at the coast as well. And you see the little counterclockwise, let's try that again. Counterclockwise swirl to this. There's that low pressure that's dropping southward. And with each one of these little waves that drop southward out of the Gulf of Alaska, each one will bring a little bit colder air with each pass, right? And so as that happens, the snow levels are going to lower a little bit with each one of these. So that's Friday night. Saturday's storm system drops down. You can see it kind of off the edge of your screen there up near Vancouver Island, and that really sets the stage here for what we think will be lowering snow levels to the valley floor by Saturday night and Sunday. So in terms of snow levels, what do we expect? Tomorrow, Friday, Christmas Eve day, it's snow all day in the Cascades above 2,000 feet. Coastal passes, though, get snowy. I think initially we're around 1,500 feet. Those snow levels will lower to 1,000 feet during the day on Friday. 1,000 feet, maybe dipping a little lower from time to time. On Friday night, that's Christmas Eve, and that means on Christmas morning, some folks up in the West Hills could have a little slush on the ground. And then during the day on Saturday, snow levels will probably hover between 500 and 1,000 feet. I don't think during the day the temperature will be cold enough on the valley floor to have sticking snow. That will be the rule. There's always an exception, right? But I think as a rule, 500 to 1,000 feet is where the sticking snow is going to be during the day on Saturday. By Saturday night, all bets are off. I think we're cold enough everywhere to have snow down to the valley floor. So here's the snow potential this weekend, and it's a lot up in the Cascades and the Coast Range. But up and down the I-5 corridor, I'm feeling more comfortable showing this. From Longview to Portland to Salem, we could be looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow on the ground by Sunday morning, and more snow showers in our forecast beyond that, and that's what our 7-day shows. So there you go. Merry Christmas. It's not a no for a white Christmas. I just think, how are we going to define that? I think snow on the ground on Christmas, at 11:59 p.m. on Saturday night, if we get a dusting of snow on the valley floor, I guess technically that would qualify, but in spirit, I think it's going to have to be more like Sunday morning when we wake up and say, oh, there's snow on the ground, and of course that's going to mean some travel concerns across the area. That's true, but then if you're still at home, if you don't have to travel, you've got the Christmas decorations up, you've got the holiday decorations up. Got the fire and the eggnog. Yep, enjoy. Exactly. Okay, you're going to like this next story because it's a cute one. UPS drivers got a special send-off today from one of their biggest fans. Sanchita Pretep visits this Vancouver UPS center several times a week with her son. Today was different, though. Her son Sahil is autistic, and when he sees a UPS truck or driver, it just brightens his entire day. So the UPS team wanted to arrange a special surprise for him. This morning, he got to send the drivers off with a wave as they left with their holiday deliveries.
The UPS is the biggest gift for him.
So if I see him happy, it's going to make me happy. I could have a bad day and be delivering and honk my horn and he comes out just to say hi, that makes my day too.
That's cute, huh? Sahil hopes to work for UPS one day, and get this, he even dressed up like a driver for Halloween. Smile, a gesture can brighten everyone's day. That is a cool story. Right? So cool. We'll be right back. We are now down to the final 2 days before Christmas, if you can believe it. So Drew Carney thought, hey, now it's the time to talk to last-minute shoppers, because why not? The setting for this project, the Washington Square Mall, and the end result is this holiday edition of Drew and You.
Hello there. How you doing today? We're talking to shoppers today about the holiday season.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Mom.
You think she's watching?
Probably.
I hope she's watching. I hope you're watching, Mom. First question we're asking, simple question. What are you shopping for today?
Oh, my family. And I saved it all to the last minute in true Christmas spirit.
Kids stuff. I have 2 kids, so clothes, toys, just got my daughter a coat.
I'm trying to find some home goods stores for a nice blanket for my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend.
Boyfriend's brother's girlfriend.
Yeah.
You go that deep in your list?
Yeah.
Follow-up question.
Sure.
Who would you say is the most challenging person to shop for on your Christmas list?
Oh, that's my husband.
My husband.
My husband. My husband, probably, yeah.
Let's go more personal here.
Yeah.
What would you say is the #1 item on your list?
Oh my goodness, the #1 item on my wish list.
Like a Barefoot Dreams robe. And they're a little pricey, but they're so wonderful.
Does someone know you want the robe?
Yes.
Because a lot of people know you want the robe now.
Please, get me the robe, yeah.
You know, Santa Claus has a couple of lists. Right. He's got the nice list and the naughty list. Which of those lists do you think you're on?
I like to think I'm on the nice list.
Hopefully the nice list.
I think I'm on the nice list. Oh, naughty, always.
Naughty?
Always.
You're the first person to admit that, you know.
Oh, I get a close-up for that one?
Jeez. This is how we'll end it. To further endear yourself with Santa Claus, could you quickly rattle off for me the names of all 8 of his reindeer?
Dancer.
Yes.
Prancer.
Yes.
That's all I got.
I don't remember the reindeer. I don't have children, so I don't sing the reindeer songs.
Cupid, Donner, Blitzen,
Dasher, Dancer, Blitzen, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
You said Blitzen twice, I do believe.
Shoot.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
Bingo.
Okay.
First person to do it.
Oh, perfect.
Look at all these people in the mall.
I'm just better.
When it comes to naming reindeer, you're the best.
Thank you.